one that takes the cake is Ho-Ho-Kus and Jay.
Welcome to the Hocus Heritage Keepers Project, episode on the lost lake of Hocus and the Zabriskie Dam.
Did you know there was once a large man-made lake in Hocus? Well, there was. And though the lake is gone now, it is part of Hocus's history. Aside from the racetrack, the lake was one of Hocus's biggest attractions of the day, where many families would come to swim, boat, fish, and ice skate in the winter. So where did it go? Well, let me tell you the story. First, where was it? The lake was located at the Ho-Ho-Kus Brook, formed by a dam just south of today's Warren Avenue Bridge, and ran northward to Hollywood Avenue. Let's look at the map. On the left of the brook ran the Erie Line railroad tracks, and to the right of the tracks was the lake, and to the right of the lake is Franklin Turnpike. This lake was originally created in the deep ravine of the Ho-Ho-Kus Brook to provide water power to the Zabriskie Cotton Mill. It was created by the Zabriskie Dam, holding back the water from the Ho-Ho-Kus Brook. The mill once operated at what is now the lower level of the train station's parking lot. The lake itself was quite large. It covered about 70 acres and was about 70 feet deep. The lake was 1/3 of a mile long, and its widest point was over 300 feet across. Before we look at the only known photograph of Sylvan Lake, there is a star on this map that gives context to it, as it is the angle of the photographer's historic shot. Recently, this rare photograph of the Sylvan Lake was discovered in the George Bradford Brainerd collection at the Brooklyn Museum. The photo here from 1880 offers a sweeping panorama of the former Sylvan Lake, once held in place by the elegant Zabriskie Dam. In this version of the photo, you can see a few labels to help orient yourself. In the middle, you can see the Zabriskie Mill. To the left of that is the location of the dam. And far off in the distance, across from the fenced pastures and farmland, the old Paramus Reformed Church and schoolhouse are visible. In addition to providing power to the mill, the lake developed into a tourist attraction. At the base of the dam was a park where people would come to picnic. People would come from miles around to visit and enjoy the view and the social atmosphere. While enjoying the view, visitors were able to walk around the lake, taking the walkway that stretched from the dam along the eastern shoreline to Hollywood Avenue. Remains of the footpath still exist today. At the north end of the lake, there was a pavilion where people would enjoy exhibits, concerts, and dancing. In addition, there was a beach area for boating, fishing, and swimming, and in the wintertime, ice skating. The Erie Railroad advertised the area as a tourist attraction and ran special trains to the Ho-Ho-Kus train station. In those days, the station was located at the top end of Hollywood Avenue. The height of tourist activity would be during the holidays in the summer. If you were a tourist, you would stay at the Sylvan Lake Hotel, located on the west side of the lake. It offered local dining and ale, with 2 floors of guest rooms, and was often used for town events and celebrations. People came from all over to enjoy the Saturday night dances held at the hotel's pavilion. Sadly, the golden times for the lake and the legendary hotel were soon to be over. On September 24th, 1882, a disaster struck that tragically changed Sylvan Lake and the area. The beautiful lake disappeared shortly before 4 p.m. Saturday afternoon, after a very intense 3-day rainstorm. Early Saturday morning, 4 smaller mill dams on the stream above Sylvan Lake washed away. This let flow a colossal current of water that rose 6 feet over the top of the dam,
forcing it to bulge in the center and causing the keystone to give way, releasing a torrent of flood water. The breaking of the dam was a calamity for the town. The water destroyed surrounding buildings, bridges, roads, farmland, and livestock. Investigation of the collapse revealed that the block stones of the dam were simply laid upon each other. In places, cement was pasted over the seams where there should have been solid masonry, and the cobblestone and boulders were irregularly dumped in as fill. This led to the dam being weak under the immense pressure of the water and inevitably breaking under the intense weight of the rising water.
The Zabriskie Dam wasn't the first dam known to have existed on that site. The first was made of wood and stone. It too was destroyed in a large flood in 1862. John Zabriskie then rebuilt the dam later that year. It was constructed of cut brownstone blocks weighing about a ton or more and rose 50 feet high. The keystone weighed between 3 and 5 tons. That's about the weight of an elephant. John Zabriskie was the main owner of the cotton mill and ran it as a very profitable business. Water running through the Zabriskie Dam turned the water wheel, which drove the mechanics of the mill, which then spun the ginned cotton into yarn. While the mill was great for the local economy by employing many townspeople, it also used child labor, which ended up being the mill's downfall when new child labor laws came into place later in the 1900s.
Tragically, John Zabriskie drowned in Sylvan Lake. An interesting piece of history that you can visit today is the Hopper Zabriskie Cemetery, where a few members of the Zabriskie family are buried. The cemetery is located adjacent to the commuters' parking lot by the Ho-Ho-Kus train station on 1st Street and dates back as far as the 1790s. These graves are kept neat and clean to respect the family and to show the historical importance this family had on Ho-Ho-Kus. The upkeep of these graves started with concerned veterans and later by an Eagle Scout who cleared the area of the graves, made a bench, added pathing, and a historical marker to preserve the family graveyard. So that is the story of the long-lost Sylvan Lake and the Zabriskie Dam, and what it meant to the history of Ho-Ho-Kus.
I'll close with one fun fact. The ruins of the dam still exist below Warren St. Bridge across from the present post office. A large section of the dam remained until 1948, at which time the Hocus Road Department began removing the stone blocks, which were used to build a road that leads to the Saddle River Park on Hollywood Ave. But local residents interceded and stopped any further destruction. Thanks to them, you can still see a bit of this history. Thanks for listening and keeping history alive. Please check out the entire series of the HHK Heritage Keepers episodes on this channel.